Welcome to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people that you do business with. And we have a very interesting business to feature here this week. We have Marilyn Lane on with us. She is the founder and CEO of Flow Everbox, a very unique and interesting new company that she has formed. So she's going to tell us all about it and what she has to offer. But first of all, Marilyn, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
So it's the business and the personal podcast. So tell us a little bit about Marilyn, and we'll let you down this road.
Okay. Well, it came about in an unfortunate way. I had lost my dear mother unexpectedly. And when she had passed, we went through the cemetery process. And I quickly realized that, I wanted to, like many cemeteries, they have a gravesite garden area. Every cemetery allows you some planting area. And I certainly wanted to honor and memorialize my mother, with flowers. She loved flowers. And so we were in there, and my husband, he said, I can build one of those. He does aerospace, and he would build me a box. And I looked around, I seen a lot of these wood boxes, but they were all kind of like, wood dilapidates with our Michigan weather. And they didn't look very nice. They were sightly. So he said, I'm going to make a nice one. I said, okay, great. Well, lo and behold, he built one out of aluminum because that's what they do with their space. And it was quite big, quite costly, and he was surprising me. And I went back there just to see the final placement, and it looked like he dug so much, I thought he was digging my mom back up. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you? And he said, what's aluminum? That's very expensive. Someone could steal it. So I thought, oh my God, a lady walks by and says, oh, where did you get it? I want that. Well, aluminum then was very expensive, even more expensive now. So he looked at her and said, we could do something like this in injection mold plastic, like our deck material trucks, high polyurethane material. And it really kind of born off of just, having this situation. And she goes, well, I would like to buy one. And she kind of instilled it that there was a need for it. So we went back to the drawing board, and we had to build something that would withstand frost, because as you know, Michigan's frost heaves and hosts, and something that would stay in the ground, something that could withstand maintenance. So when the lawnmowers and weed whips in the cemeteries wouldn't break it all up. That's how this was really born. It was through an ideal and through a design. So it's UV protected. It's an easy installation. It's just the same type of material you would see on a Trex deck. Could come in multiple colors and designs, but we really kind of simplified it to be a nice, clean line, black box that when it's installed, the way it's installed, the frost doesn't push it up, push it down. It stays, and it's durable. You could run it over with the tractor, and it holds in place. What it gave was a nice uniformity. So the cemeteries liked it, because now their cemeteries were looking neater and nicer, and people really like it. So that's kind of really how this was born. And the more that it gets out there, the more people are asking, where is it? Where'd you get it? So we are selling them wholesale right now at one place called The Flower Peddler, which is on Garfield and Clinton River Road in Clinton Township, which is right on the corner of two major cemeteries in Macomb County, the Resurrection and the Cadillac. And since he has now put it at his place, he even has it online, he offers not only to purchase it, but he has a plan where you can install it. And so it's been little by little taking off. People that do have it, they love the lasting memory. They love the beauty. They love that it's their piece of real estate for their loved one. And, it's unfortunate until you have to experience this, that people really, come together. And it's a place of peace and honor and long-lasting legacy.
You did a really good job of kind of explaining what this is there, and just in your most simplest terms, what would you say are the advantages of using this product and things that people have really liked about it?
Well, again, I think the beauty is that it holds in place, and it makes, gravestones are very expensive, granite. And so everybody likes to try to keep their area nice and tidy. So that does that. When you plant your flowers, whether it's mums in the fall, geraniums in the summer, maybe a stella plant, it gives you that landscape that this is my property, right? And it's nice, because when the maintenance companies that have all this land to manage and maintain, they have it a little bit easier to help protect other people's property. So I think that's the beauty and the durability of the product. And again, I think it gives people that this is my piece, walk around it, don't walk on it, that kind of symbolizes And, they've asked if we could use these in condominiums because, condominiums usually have limited plotting area. You could put a couple plants for vegetables in a smaller range. Certainly, that kind of gives it too. It's just like a in-ground planted box. But as you know, some of the plastic ones, they have a box and they can't withstand the ground, the frost, and the cold, and then they break all up. So this gives it that durability and easy, no maintenance. Insulation, I think, is kind of it. So we're, we've been working through it, and I didn't even realize as I got more into this that they have what's called lawn care and gravesite maintenance companies. That's a big industry, and I didn't even know that existed. And gravesite gardens. So you have to imagine a lot of people that may have lost a loved one as significant others that may be in their later years can't put a grave blanket down or can't go plant, but they're going to go there and visit their loved one as often as they can. So they have these companies that they have a la carte. So these companies are also ones that benefit from installing it. So when they have to maintain that gardening for their customer, it gives them a little bit more of a set area. So
is there any purpose for residential use for this? Have you seen people use it that way at all?
Not really, unless you just wanted some certain minimal area. Usually residential, you can have a pretty big space garden, right? Or big flower bed garden. I think this is more confined to smaller, maybe a little place in an apartment complex, a condo complex, certainly cemeteries. Now, this is a single one. We are approved at Resurrection Cemetery, which is also Mount Olivet Garden Angel. It's a very big industry, and they have certain dimensions. We built our box for them, which is pretty much the same size as a headstone, but some cemeteries allowed you to have dual headstones, one long one with two names. They want two separate boxes. So we are in the process of redesigning another box that would span two gravestones, because some cemeteries have different regulations. But kind of like Ryan right now, trying to master and work on the single, and then certainly designs on anything additional. People ask, could we put maybe a veteran's logo on it? Could we put a, mom's name? We could embed, because it's 3D printed, which is a whole nother great industry in itself. But we're firm believers that this is just a box, like a frame. You go there to see your loved one's headstone or the flowers. You don't typically walk in a house and say, oh, that's a beautiful frame, and not look at the picture. So
absolutely.
It's kind of, it's set to be that durability. I think that's the sell point on it. It's durable and long lasting.
And then, as you mentioned earlier, Marilyn, that people, certain stores that they can go to get this product. Right now, they can't get it directly from you. Either, you don't have a storefront, you don't have an online store or whatnot. But, you're still looking to expand other partners that can help distribute this for you. So for those that might be listening in that regard and looking at you as a potential partner, what on your end do you envision would be a good partner that would be able to sell a lot of these?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Thanks, Ryan. I definitely think, the cemeteries, their challenges, have enough staff, because they have to put in the gravestones at the time gravestone. So the market that would most likely be able to sell them is funeral homes, because that's when you're picking products when it comes to your time. Cemeteries, when they have to be installed, but also places like the Flower Peddler, which is a florist, who sells grave blankets and flowers specifically for cemeteries. Those are also. And then, as I mentioned, the graveside gardens and lawn care and gravesite maintenance services is a big industry. And then, you know what? There is so many retired cemetery workers who start up these businesses that manage these sites. It amazed me, but what a beautiful to go in such a tranquil area and work on these. At Resurrection, I wasn't even aware of that. There is a whole section of members of the Titanic family, and buried there, and they have the big Titanic ship, and they still have long legacy there. So there's a lot of history behind there. We do offer wholesale to those industries we mentioned, and also consignment. So you have two ways of buying it. You can buy it straight out if you know your market, Or if you're just not certain, you say, well, I'm not sure. We have a program set up that you can buy it from us on consignment. And so there's two ways of looking at it. You don't have really any money out. It's based on consignment, based on your sales. If it doesn't work, it's not your market, then, you're not out anything. Of course, the consignment cost would be a little bit more because we bear the cost opposed to outright buying it, but it's not that much of a difference. We really want people that have a need for it. We're not just trying to, sell it. We want it to be a product. If you think about it in this industry, after we've coming off COVID and we always worry about recession. And the one thing that I would say with the cemetery business is it's recession proof. The two things in life that will happen guaranteed to you: you will die and you will pay taxes. It is a guarantee. So this is an industry that we would like to help provide a service that will benefit to other people.
And a lot of the businesses I featured on this podcast kind of came about because a life experience, something that they came across where they saw a need or a void that needed to be filled, very similar to what you've done with this. You're just growing and growing and growing, but I know you have greater heights that you want to get to. What are your hopes for growth for kind of the next phase?
Well, what's kind of scary to me is, like, as I mentioned, this industry, it's across all continents. We're doing well in Macomb County. Everybody that sees it and likes it. We focused in on Resurrection Cemetery in that group because it's a very highly regarded cemetery. I mean, if you reach their bar, you're at a high end, So boys go, oh, Resurrection. So we really kind of wanted to master and get it out and get all the feedback and make certain that the product was acceptable, both to not only the cemeteries and to the purchasers, right? But this can go beyond Michigan, beyond Macomb County, think of all the states, think about, the countries. It has a place. When we researched it for the patent, there was none. And people do try to screw together, pieces of wood or, they've tried to. Nobody's yet designed or engineered something that would work with the frost so that it can stay in place. So yeah, I think our goal will be to be able to span beyond where we just started. There's so many places and people and things to say, but the biggest satisfaction is the remarks and the comments we get back from the families that have installed it, how much they love it. They send me pictures. They often tell me, here, use it for your brochure, but I'm always very mindful not to place somebody's name. I have the one there in loving memory is my mom's, and I took her name and stuff out, but it gives you the idea of how it's used and what it's for.
And I love the name, very creative. And I'm always curious, how did a business come up with their name? And yours definitely very much fits what you do for people. So how did that name come to your mind?
It was very difficult to get anything with flower and try to get a website branded .com. It's limited. And I was fortunate enough. I had a lady, Dusty, who does amazing work, and she helped me brand. And again, this wasn't anything that I was familiar with. It was just, we had a problem, we found a solution, but I didn't know the rest of it, how it all has to be done. And since we couldn't find anything with flower, she put down Flowever, and it's a play on I. When you look at the letters, you look at it and you want to just naturally say it's flower box. But when you look at the letter and you actually pronunciate, it's Flowever box. So that came about just so that we could get a domain name and put it in, but not compromise what the product was too. So kudos to Dusty and her experience and how good of work she does in that industry. She brought it to life for us. She found a problem to fix a solution to fix our problem. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, part of your goal to grow is to find more distributors out there. So for anybody that's listening in that regard and might be interested in teaming up with you, how can they reach out, or just anybody that has questions in general?
Well, we have a website, and it's www.floweverbox.com, real simple. You go on our website, and it's really nice because everything we talked about, it kind of lays out, shows you the 3D dimension of the box. It shows you how to install it. There's a video how to install it. You would think, how hard is it to install? But the way it's designed, some people tend to want to install it upside down. The bigger flange has to stay in the ground. That holds the frost in place. And there's actually a proper way to install it properly. And so That's there on that video. It talks about where it's currently at. You can get a direct link to the flower peddler, which you can go right on my link there, take you to them. You can fill out, you can purchase it online. They'll even install it for you for a cost. It's one step simple. It lists some of the cemeteries that it's currently in if you'd like to see it. And then, of course, my information's on there if you'd like to be a wholesaler or have an interest in a consignment. If you have any type of gravesite maintenance services, or you know a family member that works in the cemetery industry, funeral industry, floral industry, love to talk to you. We're open for, a wide variety of how we can help service the public. We can't ask enough for that help. That would be amazing.
Awesome. Well, hey, if I can get you in touch with even one person that helps you get this message out there more and get this to more people, this is well worth our time. So,
thank you so much. Thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. So, I really enjoyed the conversation, and we'll have you on again down the road for an update. I'm sure you've gotten bigger and better by then.
Oh, I love that. Thanks so much, Ryan. You have a great day.